Hello everyone, this is Nick from MTG Aggro Bros, and I'm doing a Mono White Heroic deck tech. And the deck's pretty fun. It can be good. You can have some pretty bad draws, you can have some pretty good ones. But I'm experimenting with a couple things. I changed around with it. And I might be turning into Mono White Aggro, just strictly aggro, so you'll see that if I do change it, which I probably will. But yeah, this deck is pretty okay. It matches up pretty well against like a couple of the mid-range decks. If you draw decently, thing is the problem with like white is that there's no like defined card draw engine, which would be really helpful. But basically, yeah. So let's get started. Okay, so first start with the mana base. We have 4 Radiant Fountains, and then straight up just 16 planes. Then we'll go into the creatures. So for 1-drops, we have 4 Favorite Hoplite, and Favorite Hoplite's a really good card. The heroic trigger is pretty good. It's a 1/2 for 1, so that's already pretty good. Sorry, and it'll get a +1 counter when you target it, and it prevents all damage dealt to that combat, which is also very helpful. So it's a combat trick in its own. Then we got 4 Laguna Band Trailblazer, both offensive and defensive. They're pretty good cards. Then that's our 1-drops creature wise. Then our 2-drops are just 4 Secret of the Way. Now I was experimenting with Vanguard of Brimaz, but it wasn't that great. Like, I didn't feel like targeting it gave me any value. But at least with Secret of the Way, I gained some life back with it, which is pretty good. So 4 Secret of the Way. For my 3 drops, I have 2 Brimaz. I didn't get this specifically. I just had Brimaz, and Brimaz is always good if you have it to put it in like any white deck. So definitely, if you have Brimaz, you should put it in. I have 3, but I didn't feel like 3 was necessary. And 4 Fabled Hero. Fabled Hero is absolutely amazing. Double Strike is very, very powerful, and it can definitely punish a lot of people. So Double Strike, very, very good. Fabled Hero, very, very good. Then, the top end, we have 2 Dawnbringer Charioteers. They're pretty good if you can hit them on 4. They're pretty solid. Yeah, they're pretty good cards. Pretty good cards. Definitely. I had 21 lands, but I was getting flooded quite a bit. So, and I really only care about like 3. And I took out some other heroic triggers because like I still need like a form of offense if I wasn't drawing into like running heroic enablers. So as 1-drop spells, we have 2 Launch a Fleet. This card's pretty sick. It can definitely help you flood the board pretty fast. Definitely a very good card. Then this is the only time when getting flooded and having a lot like creatures already and getting flooded is pretty useful, because then you have enough mana to Launch a Fleet everything. Then we have 4 God's Willing. Pretty straightforward, solid card. 4 Johnny's Presence, gives them +1/+1 and indestructible, so that's also very good. And it has Strive as well, so you could usually get it on 2 creatures. So that's 2 heroic triggers for 4 mana, which is not bad. And they get +1/+1 indestructible. Then I had Defiant Strike, but it was more like a 1-for-1 for myself because I was getting a card back, but most of the time it was just a land anyways. I still wanted to gain some life, so I put in 4 Mortal's Ardor. I thought that was pretty good. Definitely giving something. Lifelink is pretty good, giving a +1/+1, so I couldn't really turn that down. Yep, and now on to 2-drop spells. We have 2 Raise the Alarm. This is also a new addition I made. I feel like this helps combat against other aggro decks, allowing me to diversify my threats at least. So like I can also, so I don't have to like cast anything on my turn. I can wait, and if they like make a risky attack, like tap out and make a risky attack, I can always like bring these in, and it's pretty good. I would call it a blowout. And then we have Feat of Resistance. It's pretty good. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature, and which is pretty good. So usually you're generally getting 2 counters on your heroic creatures, and it's also giving them protection from a color of your choice. So that's pretty good too. It's like God's Willing with a +1 counter. So that's, you can't go wrong there. And lastly, the 2/3 drops I have in here spell wise, they're both they're both permits, and they are Spear of Heliod and Hall of Triumph. Just cards to pump my creatures. It's pretty useful. I just decided to bring them in because I still want ways to keep my creatures pumped and give them like other forms of aggression, and this can help too against like mid-range decks. Like if they're attacking with siege rhinos and stuff, I could take their damage and then just kill it, which is pretty good. So it's a lot of versatility here, and this also just allows me to give +1. And yeah, there's no like mana requirements for this as well. So that's pretty useful. So that's the main board. Move on to the sideboard. I've also been experimenting with this as well, but generally I think I have the idea of where I want to go with it. So 2 Race. Race is a very good card. 1 mana, get rid of target enchantment, which really means get rid of target Whip of Erebos. So it's very, very good card. Then we have 2 Launch the Fleet. Also, especially if we're against like a control deck, we really want to win fast. So having this here and being able to like turn 3 activate a heroic on like all my creatures, then be able to get 3 more creatures is pretty big. Hopefully they don't have a counterspell. Then we have 1 Vanguard Renaz. That again, just like another good aggro card to bring in against control, or even aggro meters is just a good card to have. You can start diversifying your threats like that, which is pretty good. You can keep adding your 1/1 vigilance creatures. Then we have 1 Feat of Resistance, just another way to protect our creatures in like mid-range matchups. So like we can give them protection from like black if trying to Hero's Downfall us, or white if trying to Vanishing Light. You get the idea. Then we have 2 Ordeal of Heliod. It's great. It you automatically get like 2 counters right off the bat from heroic. It's pretty good. Then stack it for 10 life. It's pretty solid. It'll get you there. Then we have 3 Vanishing Light, self-explanatory. Probably want to bring that in against Abzan or any whip decks. Anything like with a decent late game, you definitely want to have those. Then we have 2 Devouring Light. Also, you want to bring against whip decks or mid-range decks. Still very good. They get rid of pretty much anything that's bothering you, and it's cool because you can convoke it so you don't even need any mana. And that's why I like having Raise the Alarm. I can just cast Raise the Alarm for 2 and then convoke those and another mana to use this, so getting a lot of value. And then my last 2 cards are a Glimpse of the Sun God, just to be able to tap their creatures if I'm going for the win, and I can even like tap my own creatures if I want to get a heroic trigger as well, like at end of turn. And last but not least, Return to the Ranks. This is something I actually just thought of putting in. It seems pretty good. I could definitely convoke it with Raise the Alarm tokens. It allows me to get pretty much all my value creatures back, which helps quite a bit. I can get back, I think, like 12 creatures. Or, well, 12 creatures that are possible to get back. And I could get, like, Secret of the Way, get, like, Fear of Hoplite. So it's a way to get my threats back from the graveyard, and it seems pretty good. So, yeah, this is Mono White Heroic. Probably going to be converting into Mono White Aggro soon, or at least having that conversion available. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave any suggestions if you have any, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya.